Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Jayda'S Bead Boutique. My name is Jada. Hi, if you're new. If you haven't read the title already, today we're going to be doing a how to tie a knot video. I actually have gotten a request from a few of you guys to show you guys how I tie my knots. It definitely takes some practice. When I first started, my knots were horrible. And sometimes I still mess them up. As you guys saw in my last video, I mess my knots up all the time. So I am going to give you a few tips and tricks, as well as just showing you guys how I tie my knots. And yeah, let's get right into the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload my next video. And yeah, let's get right into it. Also, I forgot to tell you guys, if you guys are wondering like, why do you have on the same shirt? I am recording a bunch of videos in the same day because I love you guys and I am grinding for you guys. So let's just go ahead and get into the video. But if you're wondering, that's why. Okay, so before we actually get into making the bracelets, I want to go over what you will need to make a bracelet. So this is kind of a how to make a bracelet as well in the same video. So you will need string. I use Stretch Magic 0.5 millimeter string for majority of my bracelets. Sometimes I will go with a 0.7 depending on the beads I use, but also you'll need beads. So in today's video, I will be using clay beads. So a 0.5 millimeter is perfect for clay beads. So that's what we'll be using for beads and string. You'll also need scissors to cut your bracelets. Any excess string that you have, you will need scissors to cut, as well as a ruler or a bead board. But for today, I'm just going to be using a ruler just to show you guys that you can use anything that you have in your house. You will need to measure 7 inches because that is the average size of a wrist for an adult. So yes, you'll need to have a ruler to measure out your bracelets. Also, I'm gonna use the scoop. This is obviously not necessary, but I use this scoop to scoop up my beads. It just makes it easier for me. So this is actually a measuring spoon. It is a tablespoon that we don't use anymore, so I use it for this. And a bead spinner. This is also not necessary. If you don't have a bead spinner, you can totally do this without it, but bead spinners do make life easier when using clay beads and seed beads. So I'm going to be using a bead spinner, and to go along with that, you'll need a beading needle. If you do not have a bead spinner, but you want to use a beading needle, because beading needles actually do make life a lot easier without a bead spinner, you can get a regular beading needle. So this is just a straight one compared to a bead spinner needle. It has a hook. These straight needles make it a lot easier to just put them on, and you can do your different designs and different things on these. You can get these at any craft store. All of this you can get at different craft stores. I got majority of this at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann's when it was around. Rest in peace, Joann's. I know my fellow crafters, you guys are very upset, as I am, with Joann's. But yes, so you will need all of these supplies. So let's go ahead and get into how to tie the bracelets. All right, so first I'm gonna go ahead and get the colors that I want for my bracelet. I am getting ready for my fall launch, as I mentioned in my last video, so I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of make a fall mix. But whatever colors you guys use will definitely work. I'm just gonna do a little bit of orange and this color. I have a lot of beads that are not in the right spot. As you can see, there's pink in here. I will pick that out in a second. Oop. There we go. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of this darker green. Darker green. If you guys can hear the background, there is a motorcycle. Please ignore it. I think it's leaving. Yes, it left. And maybe this brown. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. However it turns out is how it turns out. It is okay. then I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of white. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and mix this together. I like to use my fingers, or sometimes I'll actually put it in like a container and shake it, which is what I think I'm gonna do. This container has beads though, so I'm gonna pour them out first, and then 1 second. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour the beads in here and shake it. This is like a random first aid kit that was empty. I cleaned it, and yeah, so I use it to shake my beads. But this is the mix. It actually came out pretty cute, definitely fall. And I'm just gonna attempt to pour this back in to the spinner. Probably gonna drop some, we'll get them after. And there we go. All right, so we have the mix, so we can go ahead and put these away. Now we can focus on our actual bracelet. So as I said, we're gonna need 0.5 millimeter string and a beading needle. Just hook it on there like so. You can leave a little extra there or scoot it up like so. So that's on there. I also like to have my ruler on hand so I can measure as I go. So I like to have that here, and my scissors to the side. I am going to move my string a little farther down so it's not in the way, but you can always just leave it next to you. Ravel that up. I'm gonna move that way. All right, so we have the mixture and our needle. I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit so you can see a little better. And yes, so pretty much with a bead spinner, I feel like this is a all-in-one video. I was making a how to tie a knot, and we're doing a how to make a bracelet and how to use a bead spinner. So yeah, this is an all-in-one video. But anyways, using a bead spinner, this takes practice. I did not know how to use a bead spinner for a minute. Like, it took me a while. I was not able to pick up the beads. It takes a while, and everyone spins differently depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed, or just what's comfortable for you. So how I spin might not be how you spin. So it takes time, and it really just takes for you to sit and do it until you figure it out. So I'm gonna give you my tips and tricks, but at the same time, my best advice is for you to just try it and see how it feels and go from there. Oops, the camera. But I got my bead spinner from Michaels. It is I forgot the brand actually, but I will try and link a bead spinner down in my description if you guys do want to get a bead spinner. I actually plan on getting another one because this one is not as big as I'd like it to be, but as I said, this was my first bead spinner. It still works for me, and yes, but this was, I would say, maybe about $10 to $15 at Michael's. So if you want to get this one, perfect. But I do recommend, if you get this one, to buy some needles off of Amazon, because the needle that came with this wasn't the best. So I got a pack of like 5 needles off of Amazon for less than 10 bucks. So I can try and link that for you guys down below as well. But anyways, enough chit chatting. I'm going to take my needle, so pointy side facing down, into the bead spinner. And depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed, this will be different for you. If you're left-handed, the needle will it'll still be facing down, but it'll be the opposite way, and you'll be spinning the opposite way. So if you're left-handed, which I'm not very good at this, so this is probably not going to work, you will be holding the needle in your left hand and putting the needle down into the bead spinner, and you'll be spinning to your left, or to your right, sorry. You'll be spinning the bead spinner to your right, and it will pick up the beads, as you can see. I can do it, but it's not very comfortable for me because obviously I am not left-handed. But if you're right-handed, then you'll do it the other way. You will put the needle in your right hand, face it down. I like to face it down at an angle so that I can pick the beads up a little easier. Best way I can describe that is to take the back of the needle and kind of put it to the this part of the bead spinner, and it's at an angle. And you're gonna spin your spinner to your left if you're right-handed, and that way, and you just keep spinning and it catches the beads, and then you pick it up and pull the beads down. And that is how you use a bead spinner. Now obviously me explaining this to you is probably like okay, but I still don't understand. As I said, you're gonna have to do it for yourself in order to figure it out, because I watched so many videos and I still couldn't get it for the life of me until I just actually did it, and it took me a while. So don't be discouraged if you are not able to use your bead spinner at first, because it does definitely take time and a lot of practice. But that is pretty much how you use your bead spinner. The best way I like to explain it is you're going against the grain. You're pretty much going against the beads to the point where they have to connect to your needle. They have no choice to. That is the best way I can explain it. And yeah, because if you go the way with the what in the world? The beads, it doesn't work, as you can see. So that is the best way I can explain it. I hope I explained it better for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this bracelet, and maybe you guys can just kind of watch and get something from just watching me. I also like to start the spinner off so that I don't have to spin it forever, and it kind of catches the beads without me having to spin it forever. Your beads are gonna fly. Well, they're gonna fly everywhere. That's normal. So just make sure you put them somewhere so you can put them back if you still need them. But you're gonna have beads flying everywhere with a bead spinner. It's just what comes with it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and measure this, and that is literally perfect. It's about 7. You can leave a little extra room, so 7.5 works perfect for bracelets. A lot of people like that extra wiggle room, so if you do make a little more than 7 inches, it's okay, as long as you're not all the way over here. Then oh, you can't even see. As long as you're not all the way over here, then you're okay. So for me, I'm at about a little over 7 inches. Let's see. Yeah, we're a little over 7 inches, and that's perfectly fine. So I like to ravel my string back onto the spool, and what you're gonna do, you're just gonna wiggle your beads to your thumb, where your thumb is at. I like to have a little extra string. I've seen a lot of people have like this much string. My dad is playing music. He just decided to play music, so we have a little music in the background. But yeah, so some people use like this little string and they're perfectly fine. For me, I literally cannot do that. I have to have a little extra string. So whatever works for you. I'm gonna just use about that much string. You're gonna bring the other string to the other one. I'm very bad at explaining things. You guys understand what I'm trying to say. You're gonna pretty much meet the 2 strings together, and you're going to cut. Leave yourself some space to tie your knot. Like, I like to leave space because it's very hard for me to tie it with not that much space. So for me, you can go ahead and tie here, but I like to pull the string a little bit and bring the beads closer. I've noticed that pulling the string a little bit before tying it helps your bracelets last a little longer, because they're able to stretch out prior to being tied. So but you don't have to do that. And then I'm just going to take both ends. So the best way I like to explain this is like tying your shoe. We all know how to tie our shoes. So you're gonna bring your two sides, you're gonna cross them together and, you know, pull it through like that, like you're tying your shoe. So that's one. So you're good there. Then I like to do what's called a surgeon's knot. So you're gonna do that again, but instead of doing it once, you're gonna do it twice, like so. Tie, boom, and then I do another regular one and another surgeon's knot. 1, 2, pull, and then one more regular one, boom. And then you have your knot. You're gonna pull it. I like to put my fingers like this right above so that I can see. You're going to take your scissors and cut right above that knot, like so. And then you have your knot. It's very seamless. It should be. If not, that is okay. It takes practice. And you have your bracelet. Now, I explained in my last video, you can get jewelry glue, jewelry and metal glue. I get this from Hobby Lobby. It comes in a pack of like 3. If you don't feel comfortable with your knots, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to do it with this one. You can glue your knots so that they go absolutely nowhere. You just put a little glue on the knot and close it and let it dry, and your knot will not move. So that is my best tip for beginners who don't know how to tie their knots and they're not very tight. But yes, this is my bracelet. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some more. You guys can watch. I'm gonna put music over this because, as I said, my dad is playing music. So yes, we're gonna go ahead and just make a few more bracelets. Okay, so as you guys can see, my knots are not always perfect either. This happens to me all the time. So even us that are experienced in making bracelets, it happens to us all the time. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up and we're gonna try again. All right, so we're gonna try this again. As I said, it is completely normal and it is okay if you make that mistake. That happens to the best of us. I will say another tip I just thought about is to make sure that you have enough beads in your bead spinner, because if you don't, it does not work well with the needle. It doesn't pick up the beads as fast. Sometimes it won't pick up any beads at all, so make sure you have a decent amount of beads in your spinner. I just thought about that because I'm starting to run low and it's not picking up the beads as fast, so make sure you have enough beads in your spinner as well. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys found it helpful and I hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely hope you guys found something out of this video because I needed it. When I first started, I was very confused on how to tie a knot, how to use a bead spinner, and how to make a bracelet in general. So I hope this is very helpful for you guys. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload my next video, and make sure you comment #JBeads down in the comments so you can be featured in my next comment of the day. And speaking of comment of the day, here's the comment of today's video. Thank you so much for commenting. I love you guys so much, and happy beading. And I will see you guys in my next one. I completely forgot to let you guys know that my site is 50% off. So if you guys are looking for anything or you've been thinking about buying something, now it is 50% off. So now is the time to buy. I am trying to clear my Etsy for my upcoming launch. That is September 22nd. Make sure you mark your calendars for that launch. But if you want to check anything out on my site, it's currently 50% off, and that will be down in the description. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next one.